You can feel it before you can explain it. A subtle pressure behind the day, a quiet insistence in the air, like the tide pulling back before it returns with force. Something in you is standing at a threshold, hand on the door, realizing you cannot keep living with one foot in and one foot out. This is the first quarter season of the soul, when light and shadow share the sky, and the cosmos asks you to choose what you will become. Not someday, now. The map is no longer theoretical. The compass is no longer decorative. It is turning inside your chest, pointing again and again toward the one path you keep avoiding. You may have called it restlessness. You may have called it doubt, but it is neither. It is momentum. It is the universe pressing your back, not to punish you, but to end the era of half-living. The first sign arrives as a mood you cannot shake, not because something is wrong, but because something is waking. You may be in the middle of ordinary routines and suddenly feel the walls of your life moving closer. The same conversations feel thinner. The same habits feel heavier. Even comfort starts to taste like dust. You try to distract yourself, but the restlessness follows like a shadow that refuses to leave. This is not impatience. This is the first quarter push, the moment when the cosmos tilts the world just enough that you can no longer pretend you are fine with a half yes. You are being asked to stop living in the hallway of your own life. The hallway is safe, but it is not a home. The hallway is where you wait, where you delay, where you keep your hand near every door, but do not open any of them fully. What restlessness is the universe knocking from the inside. It is your deeper self saying, you are not here to survive politely. You are here to become. And when this restlessness grows loud, you may notice the second sign. Doors. Not only the doors you want, but the doors you did not expect. An opportunity appears out of nowhere. A conversation happens at the perfect time. A message arrives, and a new path flickers into view like a lantern in fog. Or the opposite. A door you were leaning on suddenly closes. A plan falls apart. A connection fades. A job, a role, a version of yourself you were maintaining with effort. It slips from your grip. At first, you may feel offended by the closing. You may interpret it as rejection. But watch more closely. Some doors close because the universe is cruel. But most doors close because the universe is precise. A door closes when it is no longer aligned with a life you are supposed to live. A door closes when it would have kept you small. A door closes when your soul is ready to stop negotiating with fear. Here is the pattern. When the cosmos is pushing you, it does not only inspire you with new openings, it also removes your exits. It edits your options. It narrows the field until the only path left is the one that asks for your full presence. You can feel that, narrowing like a tide. The tide pulls back, stripping the shore of distractions. It reveals what was hidden under the shallow water. Old excuses, old compromises, old identities that were never truly yours. Then the tide returns, and it does not return gently. It returns with direction. So if you are feeling restless right now, do not call it a flaw. Treat it like a compass needle. Ask yourself where it points when you stop forcing it to be still. What thought keeps returning no matter how many times you push it away? What dream keeps visiting you like a persistent bird at the window? What truth keeps rising in your throat even when you swallow it back down? And if you are watching doors open and close, do not rush to panic. Stand at the threshold and listen. Open doors are invitations, not guarantees. Closed doors are protection, not punishment. The cosmos is not asking you to control every outcome. The cosmos is asking you to choose. Because the first quarter is not the time for wishing. It is the time for action. It is the phase where intention becomes movement, where the map becomes a road, where you stop saying one day and start saying this day. If you have been half living, the universe will make it uncomfortable to stay there. The restlessness will keep pressing. The doors will keep shifting until you finally admit what you already know. You are meant to walk through one door with your whole being, not stand between many with your life divided. The third sign is sharper than the first two. It does not arrive as a mood or an event. It arrives as a blade of clarity. You wake up one morning and something that once felt normal now feels impossible. You notice the ways you have been performing your life. You notice how often you say yes when your inner voice says no. You notice the places where you have been watering a plant that never grows. This clarity can feel ruthless. It is like light entering a room that you have kept dim on purpose. Suddenly you see the dust in the corners. Suddenly you see the cracks in the walls. Suddenly you see the true shape of what has been there all along. When the cosmos is pushing you, your tolerance for falsehood collapses. You cannot keep laughing at what does not feel funny. You cannot keep agreeing with what does not feel true. You cannot keep selling your soul in small installments. You may think, why now? Why is it all so obvious now? Because first quarter energy is decision energy. It is the phase of the moon that says, stop drifting, take a direction. You are not here to float in circles. You are here to align. And alignment always begins with honesty. This is where your half-living becomes visible, not in dramatic ways, but in tiny betrayals. You stay quiet when you should speak. You settle for attention when you want devotion. You accept a half-dream because it feels safer than risking a whole one. The clarity is not here to shame you. It is here to free you. It is the map unfolding in your hands, showing you what you have been pretending not to see. Then comes the fourth sign, silence. Not the silence of loneliness, but the silence of recalibration. You find yourself craving stillness. You may cancel plans without guilt. You may step away from noise, from social performance, from constant input. You may sit with your own breath and feel a strange relief, as if your nervous system has been waiting for this quiet for years. This is important. When the universe pushes you toward a new chapter, it often reduces the volume of the old one. It turns down the music of distraction so you can hear the faint voice of your own knowing. Silence becomes your compass. You start to notice that some people drain you the moment they enter the room. Some tasks leave you scattered. Some environments make your spirit feel small. And you also notice what restores you. Certain places feel like clean air. Certain practices feel like warm light on your skin. Certain words feel like water. In silence, you begin to detect what you could not detect in noise. You notice the difference between peace and numbness. You notice the difference between excitement and anxiety. You notice the difference between love and attachment. This is why the cosmos invites you into quiet, not to isolate you forever, but to return you to signal. A compass cannot guide you if it is surrounded by magnets, and the modern world is full of magnets, opinions, expectations, endless comparisons. Silence removes the magnets. And in that quiet, you may hear a sentence rise from somewhere deep, a sentence that feels older than your current life. It might sound like, I cannot do this anymore, or I want more, or I am ready. Do not rush past that sentence. Do not try to fix it or soften it. Let it sit in you like a candle. Let it illuminate what it needs to illuminate. Because here is the truth. When the cosmos is pushing you, it does not only change your circumstances, it changes your inner standards. It changes what you are willing to accept. It changes what you call normal. And once your standards rise, half-living becomes painful. You cannot unsee what you now see. So if you are experiencing sudden clarity, if you are feeling the cut of truth slicing through old stories, do not fight it. Ask it what it is trying to save you from. Ask it what it is trying to lead you toward. And if you are being pulled into silence, honor that pull. Take the quiet seriously. Turn down the world for a moment. Put your hand on your chest and feel the direction your life wants to move. Because the threshold is not only outside of you, the threshold is inside of you. And once you step into real silence, you will realize something. The universe has been speaking the whole time. You were just too loud to hear it. The fifth sign is strange, almost dreamlike. Time begins to behave differently around you. You may notice your sleep shifting. You fall asleep and wake up at unfamiliar hours. Your dreams become vivid, symbolic, heavy with meaning, as if your subconscious is sending messages and images instead of words. Or you may feel the opposite, a restlessness at night, as if your spirit refuses to fully power down because it is anticipating a change. Even your days can warp. Hours vanish when you are doing something that feeds your soul. Minutes stretch long when you are doing something that drains you. You start to feel, with surprising accuracy, where your energy belongs and where it does not. This is not random. It is recalibration. When the cosmos is pushing you, it adjusts your inner clock. It begins to pull you out of patterns that were built on survival and into rhythms built on purpose. The old schedule might have kept you functioning, but it did not keep you aligned. So the universe starts rewriting your timing from the inside. You may also notice synchronicities multiplying, not as a party trick, but as a language. You think of someone and they call. You ask a question and the answer appears in a book, on a street sign, in a conversation you overhear at the exact moment you needed it. A number repeats, a phrase repeats, a symbol repeats, like the cosmos is highlighting a sentence in the margin of your life. These moments are not meant to make you superstitious. They are meant to make you attentive. They are meant to teach you how to read the map. Because in a first quarter season, guidance often arrives as pattern. You might see the same theme again and again. The theme of leaving, the theme of speaking up, the theme of building, the theme of letting go. It is like the universe is tapping the same place on the compass, insisting, this is north. Stop pretending it is west. Here is what many people miss. Synchronicity is not a substitute for action. It is an invitation to act with trust. A sign does not replace your choice. A sign sharpens your choice. You may feel the temptation to wait for one more confirmation, one more miracle, one more perfectly timed green light. But the first quarter is not the phase of waiting. It is the phase of stepping. The light is growing. The shadow is shrinking. The cosmos is not asking you for certainty. The cosmos is asking you for courage. And if you have been half living, courage will feel like narrowing. It will feel like losing options. It will feel like the universe removing your ability to drift. This is why time and synchronicity shift together. Time warps to reveal what matters. Synchronicity appears to remind you that you are not walking alone. Imagine standing at the edge of a forest at dusk. You cannot see the full path, but you can see the next few steps. Then, as you move forward, another lantern appears farther ahead. Not the whole road, just the next light. That is how this works. The cosmos does not usually flood you with a blueprint. It gives you a sequence, a map that unfolds as you walk. So how do you respond to this fifth sign? First, respect your altered rhythm. If your sleep is changing, treat it as information. If your dreams are vivid, listen to the symbols. What door keeps appearing? What ocean keeps rising? What voice keeps calling your name? Your unconscious is often the first place your future reveals itself. Second, track the patterns. Not with obsession, but with reverence. When you notice a synchronicity, pause, feel it. Ask yourself, what is this pointing to in me? What choice is it trying to strengthen? What fear is it trying to dissolve? And third, return to the compass inside your body. The universe may speak through signs, but it also speaks through sensation. Expansion is a signal. Constriction is a signal. Ease is a signal. Tightness is a signal. When you imagine taking a certain step, notice how your breath responds. Your breath is honest when your mind is not. Because the first quarter choice is not about choosing a life that looks impressive. It is about choosing a life that feels true. Time warps to show you where truth lives. Synchronicity appears to guide you back when you wander. And if you are seeing these shifts now, if your nights feel charged and your days feel strangely symbolic, do not dismiss it. You are being tuned. You are being aligned. You are being prepared to cross a threshold with intention, not accident. The sixth sign does not whisper. It speaks through your body. You may feel it as tension that appears without a clear cause. A tight throat when you try to say something you do not mean. A heaviness in your chest when you force yourself to stay where you have outgrown. A sudden fatigue around certain people, certain places, certain commitments. Or you may feel the opposite, a surge of aliveness when you imagine a new direction. Your spine feels taller, your breath feels deeper, your skin feels brighter. It is as if your body is voting before your mind finishes debating. This is not imagined. This is intelligence. When the cosmos is pushing you, your nervous system becomes a truth detector. It stops tolerating the misalignment you use to override. It stops cooperating with your ability to pretend. The body does not care about your excuses. The body cares about coherence. You might have called these sensations stress, and sometimes they are. But in a first quarter season, stress can also be a message. It can be your inner compass saying, "You are walking in the wrong direction, and I will not stay quiet about it anymore." So listen closely. Where do you feel open? Where do you feel closed? What environments make your breath shallow? What choices make your breath full? Your body speaks in doors and thresholds too. It opens when you are aligned. It locks when you are not. Then comes the seventh sign, friction. Relationships begin to crack or clarify. Conversations that once flowed now feel like walking through thick mud. Small misunderstandings become larger. You notice power dynamics that you used to ignore. Shout, you see where you have been shrinking to keep peace. You see where you have been giving more than you receive, or receiving without honoring what is being offered. This friction can feel like conflict, but it is often revelation. It is the cosmos turning up the heat so the truth rises to the surface. Sometimes the friction is external. People challenge you. Plans get interrupted. Your path meets resistance. Sometimes the friction is internal. You feel torn between the old identity and the new one. One part of you wants safety. Another part wants freedom. One part wants approval. Another part wants authenticity. Here is the important thing. When the cosmos pushes you, it does not always feel like smooth blessing. It often feels like holy inconvenience. It exposes what is unsustainable. It pressures what is brittle. It confronts what is false. Friction is the sound of the old life refusing to release you and the new life refusing to wait. If you have been half-living, friction becomes inevitable. Because half-living requires constant negotiation, it requires you to keep everyone comfortable while you stay unfulfilled. It requires you to carry two stories at once, the story you show and the story you feel. The first quarter does not allow that split for long. The light is growing, and growing light reveals. So what do you do when your body signals and your life rubs against itself? You stop making the friction mean you are doing something wrong. You ask what it is revealing. When your throat tightens, what truth are you swallowing? When your stomach knots, what boundary are you crossing? When your chest feels heavy, what grief are you refusing to honor? When your energy drops around someone, what part of you is being dismissed? And when conflict appears, you stop rushing to fix it with performance. You become honest, not cruel, not dramatic, but clean. Clean honesty sounds like, "This does not work for me anymore." Clean honesty sounds like, "I need something different." Clean honesty sounds like, "I am choosing a new direction." Because friction has a purpose. It is meant to test the integrity of your choice. A door does not open fully for someone who keeps one hand on the old doorknob. A threshold is crossed with the feet, but also with the heart. And the universe will not let you carry your whole past through a doorway that is meant for your future. So if your body is speaking and your life is shaking, do not collapse into fear. Stand still. Breathe slowly. Put one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly, and ask yourself a simple question. Where am I half living? Not where am I failing? Not where am I broken? Where am I divided? Because the cosmos is not punishing you. The cosmos is pushing you into wholeness. And wholeness requires choice. Now you have seen the pattern. Restlessness, doors opening and closing, clarity cutting through illusion, silence becoming your compass, time shifting, synchronicity gathering like stars in a line, your body speaking, friction revealing what is misaligned. 7 signs, but 1 message. You are at a threshold, and the cosmos is not asking you to understand everything. It is asking you to choose. This is where half-living ends, not with a dramatic explosion, but with a vow, a clean decision, a single step taken with full presence. Because the first quarter is not a concept, it is a moment in your life when the light inside you reaches a point where it can no longer be hidden. It is the phase where you stop dreaming of a different life and begin building it. So here is the vow. Say it slowly in your mind as if you were placing your hands on the doorframe of your future. I will not live divided. I will not keep my soul in waiting. I will choose one direction, and I will walk it with my whole being. And if you need something practical, something you can do tonight, something simple that turns spiritual pressure into grounded movement, then do this. A small ritual, a quiet crossing. Sit in a dim room. No music, no screens, only breath and stillness. Feel the air enter your lungs and leave again. Let your thoughts slow down like dust settling. Now, imagine your life as a hallway with many doors. Some doors are familiar, some doors are frightening, some doors are tempting because they require nothing. Some doors are sacred because they require everything. In your mind, walk down the hallway. Or stop at the door that has been calling you, the one you keep circling, the one you keep delaying. You already know which door it is. Your body reacts when you look at it. Your breath changes. Your heart tightens or expands. That is the compass. Place your hand on the doorknob in your imagination. Now ask 3 questions and answer with ruthless kindness. What am I afraid I will lose if I open this door? What part of me will finally be allowed to live if I open this door? What small step can I take in the next 7 days that proves I am serious? Do not demand a perfect plan. You do not need 1,000 steps. You need one true step, one action that breaks the spell of half-living. A message sent, a boundary spoken, a commitment made, a habit ended, a practice begun, a room cleared, a conversation faced, a door opened. Then write that step down. Do not shorten the words. Make it clear, make it simple, make it something you can do. And when you finish, close your eyes and picture the tide again. The tide pulls back, revealing the shore. Then it returns. The returning water does not ask for permission. It follows the moon. It follows gravity. It follows the law of alignment. You are like that tide. You are being pulled by something larger than your fear. You are being guided by a rhythm older than your doubts. This is why the cosmos pushes you, not to overwhelm you, but to rescue you from the slow erosion of a life half-lived. So when the next wave arrives, do not brace against it. Let it carry you forward. Stand at the threshold and feel the light growing. Feel it in your breath. Feel it in your spine. Feel it in the way your heart responds when you tell the truth. And then choose. Choose the door that makes you more real. Choose the path that requires your presence. Choose the life that you cannot live halfway. Because the universe does not push you toward survival. It pushes you toward wholeness. And wholeness is your true home.